Thank you for joining today. This is the first session in ongoing sessions. We'll have one every month, hopefully. And the idea behind it is for us to not only improve our skills when it comes to using technology, but also understand how to use AI and how AI will benefit us individually and as a company. It's obviously a very important trend. It's all that everybody speaks about lately. It's all you hear about. So it's very important, not just to keep up to date with trends, but it's also got great benefits for everybody. So what I'm going to do is, it, it's very exciting. AI is very exciting once you start using it, and it's always very tempting to jump in and want to immediately get into it and share it with you and demo what it can do. But I think for this first session, what's very important is just to get an understanding of AI because we hear so much about it and there's articles and it's all over the place and every piece of software that we engage with has got AI embedded in it. So I think let's just have a look at what is AI in the context of what we want to do with it and how it can benefit us and just go through some basics basically on a theoretical level before we get stuck in. Okay, so this is the first session and it's just an introduction, as I said. So I will share this slide deck in the recording afterwards. All right. So AI is here and you use it every day. So we're already engaging with AI. We can't get away from it. Everything, if you use Adobe PDF, for example, they've got AI assistants. If you use Canva, they've got AI features. Even on your phone, if you Google something lately, the first result that you see is the Google Gemini results. So we're using it every single day, and an AI has been around for a long time. It's 1950s already. They started with the concept of AI. Back then, it was sort of like a sci-fi concept, and obviously today we've got ChatGPT and things like that. And in the future, there's a lot more coming when it comes to AI. So what's important to remember about it, it's not anything scary. It's not only for experts to use. It's not only for scientists to use. It's a practical tool that everybody can use. So just like when Google came out, and the internet started and all of that, it was a very novel thing to type a search into Google and get results. Basically, if you want to really break it down into its simplest form, if you use something like ChatGPT, it's just Google but on steroids. So it can think, it can reply, you can have conversations with it. As crazy as what that sounds, that's the best way to engage with ChatGPT. So it's really just something we've been using in a certain way to a certain degree, and suddenly there was obviously this big AI bubble when OpenAI released it. I think it was 3 years ago when they released the first version of ChatGPT. But it's been around forever, and it's been embedded in a lot of the software that you use. It just sort by embracing AI intentionally. So instead of just seeing the AI message pop up in whatever piece of software you're using or glancing over the articles about AI, if you intentionally get to understand it and use it, then it's really a powerful tool and it can enhance things like productivity. It can help with improved decision making. That being said, an important thing to understand when you engaging with AI is AI is very dependent on you. So what you ask AI and how you ask the questions or the information that you feed into it before you ask it to do an analysis or make a decision, and the context that you give it is very important. And that's where being educated on AI and being intentional about how we use it is very important. Okay. But it unlocks new ways of working. So for those of you who have used it, and I'm aware that we've got a very wide range of users here. Some people might have never used it. Some people might have played around with it. Others might be using it every day already. So this is obviously aimed very generally for everybody. So if you are using it already, that's great. But for those of you who have dipped your toe in the water, hopefully this will encourage you to explore a bit further before our next session. But it really can change the way you do things, the way you work. I use AI for everything. And it's also, I think there's what's important to remember is that there is a stigma attached that using AI makes you lazy. That's not true at all. You still have to be very thoughtful and intentional about how you use it. So I think it's a misconception that it makes you lazy. We've all worked very hard and studied to be where we are. And AI is essentially the equivalent of a very efficient personal assistant. Okay, so that's a good way to look at it. So there are reasons why AI should be important to you. It's obviously important to us as an organization, as a company, because we want to increase productivity, we want to work smarter, we want to work faster. But also for you as an individual, no matter what it is that you do, it's important for you to understand what the benefits are for you on an individual level as well. So building your AI skills, better job opportunities. They're in high demand, and these days, just following on to Ida's LinkedIn workshop from Friday, if you go into LinkedIn and you have a look, so many of the jobs that are being advertised with conversations that companies are having, it's centered around AI. So by having AI skills and being comfortable with AI, really it gives you better job opportunities in the future, and it's a skill that's going to be considered essential. So just like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, being computer literate on Microsoft Office was a skill. It isn't anymore. It's kind of expected that everybody know how to use a computer. And so it's going to be the same with AI. It's going to become just an expectation. So it's better to get started now than later. And then in your current roles, it can improve productivity. So you can automate tasks, you can save time, you can work faster. So instead of spending 3 days writing out a report and spending all that time refining it or thinking how to reword it or restructure it, if you engage correctly with AI, it can do it for you in 2 hours instead of in 3 days. Okay. Problem solving. So AI helps individuals analyze data and make smarter decisions. So if you use something like ChatGPT, you can upload your spreadsheets and you can ask ChatGPT to analyze it for you. If you give it the correct parameters, ask it what you want, and it can give you a result. So it can help you make smarter decisions. That being said, again, what you put in and how you engage with AI and the questions that you ask are very important. That's called prompting, but we'll get to that towards the end, and it is something we'll go into at a later stage. Creativity and innovation. So where AI is great is for creating content, designs, helping you come up with new ideas, helping you brainstorm. um, but we will talk a little bit about that. What you need to keep in mind is also there are copyright and data issues that you need to check. So just an important thing is if you are engaging with AI chat, and I'm focusing on ChatGPT, some of you might use Gemini or Microsoft Copilot or whatever the case is. It's always important not to take what comes out at face value and to double check everything as well, because AI is known to, it's called an AI hallucination. As funny as that sounds, it can sometimes just come up with complete rubbish. It's very rare. It's very certain instances where that's happened, but also because of copyright issues. Remember, all it's doing is it's drawing from a mass of information on the internet. So it can help with creativity, but it's up to you to refine that and change it and engage with ChatGPT enough to change it, and to run it through some sort of plagiarism checker or whatever the case is. So there is still work involved. It's not that you're sitting back, and this is why I say it doesn't make you lazy. there's a lot of work involved. You need to check, you need to rewrite, you need to engage with ChatGPT to change certain things, rewrite certain things. It takes a human to interact with it for it to be able to work. Then future readiness, that's obviously a huge factor. So learning AI helps people stay relevant. So once again, I'll go back to 10, 15 years ago. You had to learn Microsoft Office and Excel and PowerPoint to be relevant in the corporate workplace. That's now, like I say, it's if you can't use a computer, it's very difficult to apply for a lot of jobs. And in the future, it's going to be the same with AI. The expectation is going to be that you are AI literate. We're moving on from just computer literacy now to AI literacy. So you need to stay relevant, but also for yourself, because again, you can save a lot of time and you can be very productive a lot faster if you are engaging with AI. Empowerment in daily life. It allows you to use modern tools confidently, and it's relevant in so many sectors. Obviously, I'll go into a little example with education because that's the sector that we're in, but you get AI in coding. So coders are using AI to generate code. You get it in accounting firms, you get it in law firms, you get it in the education industry, you get it in the marketing industry to create marketing content. All your software packages have got some sort of AI feature in them. That's sort of a given. So it really does, it can empower you in everything that you do. And I mean, I use AI even to write personal formal emails sometimes. So it's got a lot of scope as to how it can assist you. Okay. It's endless really. So I'm sure again, some might know this might seem very simple to others. This might be new information. So the basics are AI is artificial intelligence, and the idea is that it's a system that can think like a human. But not only does it think like a human, if anybody has used ChatGPT, you know that you can even talk to it like a human. So they work on something called large language models, and they use something called neural processing, which is all words from, when it comes to psychology, you've heard of neurons and neural processing, and language is what we use to communicate. So it just uses these crazy amounts of data to learn from, to make decisions from, and the more you interact with it, the more it learns. So if you start, and this is gonna sound funny, and some of you are gonna laugh, if you start building your relationship with your AI very early on, a year down the line, say it's ChatGPT and you've been doing everything through ChatGPT, it knows you so well that it's got so much background data on you that it's stored, that it's going to become more accurate and more efficient in the results that it gives you. Whatever it is that you're asking it to do, write content, do a comparison, write a report. Okay. So sometimes you might feel like you're losing your mind when you're using AI because you can talk to it as if you're talking to a personal assistant and tell it, change that, what about this? And it talks back to you and says, oh, good point. Thanks for pointing that out. But the more you interact with it, your particular account on the same account, for example, the faster it's going to be able to give you results, and the more efficient and accurate those results are going to be. And they do share that. That's another thing. It's a massive network. So the more humans in general interact with the AI systems, the greater their bank of data to draw from becomes. And so the more sophisticated AI becomes. But the takeaway is, and I know a lot of people worry, but AI can take over my job. Yes, there are perhaps certain jobs that AI can replace. I'm not, it's no point lying about that. However, those are, I think it's a fairly narrow scope of jobs, despite the fear mongering that's going on. And AI really doesn't work without humans driving it or interacting with it. So it takes our expertise in whatever our field is or our job or our position to enter the prompts into the AI engine to be able to get the results. Okay. Obviously, there is automation that can happen and that sort of thing. But again, the experts are still needed in their field. And I don't just mean you need to be like an expert with a PhD, but an expert in whatever your field is. If your field of expertise is writing macros in Excel for your accounting firm, it's still something that needs to be given as context to AI to generate the same reports. It just means they can do it faster as your assistant. So the types of AI, and I'm not going to go too much into detail with the technical parts of this, it's narrow AI. This is what we're using today. Narrow AI means we ask it very specific questions. Okay. So it's not going to go off and do your homework for you. It's not going to go off and write your report for you. It's not going to go off and fill in your timesheets or your attendance for you, whatever the case is. You need to give it specific narrow tasks or ask it a very specific narrow question. Okay. And what they're working towards, the future goal, and when and how we get there is to be seen, is general AI. And general AI is supposed to be super intelligent AI that will go off in a way, it'll go off on its own and it will be able to do things without having to be given narrow prompts. But we're not there yet, so I think that's something to address when we get there. Okay. But most likely, if you have been interacting with software systems over the last 2 or 3 years, which you have because we can't get away from it, if you've worked with any kind of software that learns, predicts, or automates, and it usually pops up and says, use this AI tool, it's powered by AI. So all companies are moving into the realm of AI. Like I say, exactly what 15 years ago or 20 years ago when software started, a Word and Excel and PowerPoint, and you couldn't have a company or a job without it. That is what AI is now. It's not computer literacy. It's all about AI literacy. Okay. Obviously, opportunities and concerns. And I invite you to pop me an email if you have specific concerns about using AI. Okay, because I'm happy to address it. Some concerns are valid and all concerns are valid. Let me put it this way. There's no such thing as a stupid question. I don't believe that as a teacher. So any questions are welcomed. If you have concerns about using it, well, is it cheating or what's going to happen? Is everybody going to see what I'm typing on the internet? That sort of thing. Those are perfectly valid questions. You can send them to me and we can discuss them. It's very important that these sort of discussions happen in the workplace as we get into bringing AI into our everyday work and everyday life. So the opportunities are, I think, very obvious, and they will only become obvious once you use AI and engage with AI. So you've reduced workload. It really can do something that would take you a week. It can do it in a second, but it will still take a couple of hours of your refining it. Okay. And it still reduces, it takes days off of something you have to do. The disclaimer being, depending on what you have to do, it can't paint a portrait for you that you've still got to do on your own, for example. But most things work related, it really can reduce your workload dramatically. It automates a lot of things that are really boring. So say you've taken a whole lot of meeting notes and now you've got to think. And I just saw Lalisha's put a very interesting point there regarding her English. So she uses ChatGPT to help you with sentence structure, and that's fantastic. That's exactly what it's meant for. So it's saving you time instead of you having to write a report or an email and spending 3 hours stressing about it and having to check whatever. You pop into ChatGPT and it does a beautiful job for you, and you can make some tweaks to it and it's done. So that's a great example. Thank you for that. So it reduces your workload. It can automate a lot of things like that. And it's convenient and it's quick. It can do things in a fraction of a second. It processes so much data. It's scary. All right. So that is a tiny, tiny amount of opportunities in comparison to the vast number of opportunities that exist. Obviously concerns, data privacy. So that is a concern, and for example, Matthew McConaughey, I don't know if you're older, perhaps you know who he is. He has gone and he has trademarked his face and his voice. He's actually trademarked it because of AI things being generated on TikTok and that and YouTube. So there is a huge discussion and debate about that because what AI has done is it's taken all the information in the world, essentially. I know that sounds dramatic, and it's drawing off that. So there is data privacy concerns, and they do advise that you be cautious about super sensitive documents. However, if you're using a paid version of ChatGPT, then your data is kept private, and I'll give you the disclaimer at the bottom that your data is not being used to contribute to the larger model. So it is something, again, if you've got concerns, you can reach out. If it's something you want to pop into ChatGPT and you're concerned about it, you can reach out and we can look into it. But overall, it's good to be aware because of privacy laws and the Puppy Act and that sort of thing. It is good to be aware of that. That is part of cybersecurity. And then AI bias. Just remember, whatever model AI is trained off of, it can make decisions that are biased. Okay. It shouldn't affect us in what we're going to be using it for. But if it is something of interest to you and it's something you'd like us to discuss in a little bit more detail, we can. Makes decisions and it gives you information based on the information that it has access to. So just like I said, if you build a relationship with AI and it gets to know you really well, if you have certain biases, so you have certain preferences, AI is going to lean in that direction too to please you. Because when you start talking to ChatGPT, as crazy as that sounds, you'll see it very much wants to please you. So sometimes it's important to just be aware that it can be it's important to check whatever output you get and results you get. Okay. And then the big one is job displacement. But as I said, there is a big debate, a hot debate about that. Some jobs can be replaced with AI, no doubt. However, there hasn't been like a mass job displacement in the world yet. And that is because AI doesn't do anything without a human prompting it to do that. So that's important to remember. And it should also motivate you to want to learn AI skills. So in order to stay relevant, you must be able to be the person who can drive AI. Okay, that helps with job security. And I'm not speaking about your trading portal. I'm just it's just a general comment about a concern that's all over the world, everywhere. Obviously, in all industries, there's massive discussions and concerns and debates about what is AI going to do to the job market. So that's a big one that always comes up. So it is important for both individuals and businesses to understand and leverage AI because we need to be future ready. Okay, you need to be future ready. This is the next. Just have computer literacy is out. It's now AI literacy. So this is just a brief example of how it's used in education and learning because we are in education and learning. So lots of platforms will work out personalized learning paths using AI and algorithms, automated grading tools. A lot of the schools are actually using that already. It doesn't always work very well. Often the AI grades it, but it needs not often, all the time. Teachers need to double check this. So their humans are still very much needed to babysit AI. You get AI tutors. Again, it's still in its infancy. So tutors, don't worry. And I'm a teacher. I come from a teaching background myself. I'm a registered teacher. I don't believe AI could ever replace a teacher, but it can certainly help support learners when they don't have access to their teacher. And then tools for accessibility. So things like speech to text, translation, voice reading. So especially when it comes to people with disabilities, it's fantastic because I'm all for web accessibility. AI is a fantastic tool when it comes to web accessibility tools. And we need to ensure that all our learning material is inclusive and so on. So AI does a great job of that. So it can support educators and students for smarter learning. Andrew's got a question. What is the difference between AI and Monday.com? Okay, that's a really good question, actually, Andrew. So AI is a general term that stands for artificial intelligence. And it's a concept and a way of setting code up or programs up so that they can interact with you and think like a human and respond and make decisions. Monday.com is a system on its own that manages workflow. Okay. Now, what you would get is something like Monday.com. You would be able to plug AI into Monday.com, and it will help you use the system Monday.com a lot faster. So Monday.com is a specific system, whereas AI is a general tool that exists that's written in code, and that can be used with any other software system. Okay, so Monday.com does have at the top of Monday.com, it's got a little picture there and it says use the AI wizard. Okay, if you go to Microsoft Word, I think Copilot will pop up and say use the AI wizard. So AI is a type of technology, and it can plug into any system such as Monday.com. Monday.com is the system we use at Training Portal specifically to manage all our workflow. So I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, you can pop me an email and I can try and find a better example, because we don't have that much time today. But I hope that helps a little bit. AI in the workplace. So automating repetitive tasks. And as I mentioned, if you've taken a lot of meeting notes and you need to write a report, you can pop those meeting notes into ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is one AI tool, for example, that's purely AI. It's all it does is AI. It doesn't plug into Monday.com or anything like that. It's standalone, and that's what we'll be focusing on. But you can take ChatGPT, you can pop your meeting notes in, and you can say in the following tone, write the following report, focus on X, Y, and Z. You give it all the different parameters you want, and it will give you a report. And then you can talk to it and you can tell it, okay, change paragraph 2, move paragraph 3 and put it underneath paragraph 5, and you can refine it from there. If you want to roll a plan out, if you need to do planning, you can pop all the information in, whether it's documents or notes, and you can tell it what you want your plan to look like, and it'll give you a first draft in a minute. And then from there, you can refine it. Okay, that moves on to drafting or refining documents and content. You can draft documents, you can draft marketing content or learning content out of it. Or if you have some very basic ideas, you can pop it in there and you can use it to refine it. Okay. Then you get data analysis and recommendations. You can put spreadsheets in and you can ask it to do an analysis, providing you give it very specific instructions of what you need, and you can engage with it for creativity and ideas. Okay. All right. So AI helps workers do more faster and better. It's available for everybody to leverage its benefits. Okay. AI is free because you open AI and ChatGPT, which we're going to get into. And that's the tool I want to focus on. But I want us to first, getting a lot of great questions, and I see there's a lot happening in the chat about us getting to understand AI. Like, what is this AI? Is it a program? Is it a technology? How does it work? Where does it fit in? So that's a very good exercise for us to do first, so that we can better understand and we can maximize it. Okay. So popular, well-known AI tools. ChatGPT, that is it's a company named OpenAI did it. They were the first one to launch it on its own a while back. They're the one who created all the hype. And it was the first tool where AI was available as a standalone sort of system. Well, no, I think Google did do one before that. They'd had Bard, but it was the first one to sort of really break it wide open. Okay, so that's why everybody knows ChatGPT. And it's like a little Google search bar, and you can just talk to it, and it's going to go and do exactly what Google does. It searches a whole database of information, but instead of just popping it down as links like Google does, it is going to organize it for you the way you want it to, and then you can talk to it and tell it to change it or whatever the case is. Okay, so when we get into that part of everything in these sessions, you'll see how powerful it is. Gemini is Google's version of AI. Okay. So when you Google on your phone tonight, if you're watching TV and you're Googling whoever the actor is on Netflix that you're watching, you'll see it will pop up and it will say AI results. Okay. So it uses Gemini's, its AI system, is Google's AI system. All right. So it plugs in, Google has developed it and plugged it into their Google products. ChatGPT is AI that stands on its own. Okay. Anybody that is on Twitter that is now called X, they've got something called Grok that's often used for pictures and images, and funny little pictures and images on people's Twitter feeds or X feeds. Copilot, if you look down at the bottom of your computer right now, and you pop up there, it'll say in your tray at the bottom, it often says Copilot. Or if you look at your Microsoft chats, Teams chats, also there's like a little Copilot button there. Copilot is Microsoft's version of AI. And well, it's not as well known, is DALL-E. That's specifically for image generation, and it can do some absolutely beautiful stuff. There's an entire course that I did on how to generate very artistic images in a specific artist style. So depending on the prompts that you put in, you can get amazing artwork. But again, remember there's copyright issues. So if you say create a picture of Mickey Mouse, okay, so there's obviously still a big copyright issue going on. DALL-E creates a beautiful picture of Mickey Mouse drinking a cup of coffee sitting on a cloud. It's your idea and your creation, and you've done it in a certain style, but Mickey Mouse belongs to Disney. So you still can't necessarily just use that content freely. Okay, and that is something to always be aware of, especially if you're writing a book or generating learner content or something that you're going to publish, is to remember that there are still copyright laws. Okay, but if we're just using ChatGPT to increase our workflow and our productivity, which is what we're going to focus on initially, then you don't need to worry about copyright laws. How many people was it that have used? One. Is there anybody that wants to share like a really awesome thing that they did with AI? If it's something so cool that they did. Is there anybody? I'll let everybody put their hands down first. Is there anybody who wants to share that?
They have a system with Meta AI, and it's really cool in taking away a lot of work for advertisers. So instead of setting up a whole campaign from start to finish, it allows you to it basically automatically senses what type of target audience you're looking for, and then you can just double check it and confirm if it's correct. But that alone has saved me an hour of work each time I set up a campaign. So, I love that new platforms are also, all platforms are integrating it into their systems.
That's great. Thank you. That's Facebook, right? Meta. It's Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's your Facebook advertising. They've brought that AI in now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks for sharing, Ida. So you see, okay, I didn't even think about what Facebook's been around forever now. They're now old. What used to be new is now old. But that's cool that they're also bringing in their own AI tools. So there's an example, instead of having to go and set all the things up that you want for your advertising campaign, it does it for you in a split second instead of what would take you an hour. So thank you for sharing that. But I'm hoping that within the next couple of weeks to months that everybody will have a story. I see Rolanda's got a cool story. It's your running coach. Training for my first 10Ks. All my running stats are uploaded, and ChatGPT creates a running program and motivates me on. Okay, that's very cool. That's a nice example of really how it can help you in ways you would never think. I would never have thought of that myself, to be honest. So that's a very cool story. Okay, so it's good to know that some of you are as addicted to AI as what I am. All right. So what is the takeaway from all of this? Okay, because I know this is a lot of information and it's overwhelming. So what should you do? Okay, what now? Right? Okay, first and foremost, be curious and don't be afraid of AI. Like, learn how it works. If you've got questions, ask questions. We should talk to each other within the company, and if you've got a buddy in the company that's, uses AI, be curious and talk to them. If there's something you want to share with us, if you've got questions, if you've got concerns, like I said, there's no such thing as as a stupid question ever. So ask questions about it, and go a little bit deeper than just sometimes these silly headlines that you see, like, oh, the dark side of AI, or AI is taking everyone's jobs away. Often there's context that must go with that, that's not. So be curious and explore it. Play a little bit with the different AI tools, and ask questions. All right. Understand how you can benefit from AI. How's AI going to make your life better? All right, ask that question, because otherwise, why should you? Well, aside from needing to be future proof, and you need the skills just like you need to be able to use computers. Aside from that, ask, how can it benefit you? And if you want to, and you've got a question, email me and say, Amelia, this is my job. This is what I do every day. What do you suggest? How can I help use AI help me? And I'm happy to explore that with you. Okay, so ask questions, always ask questions. Use tech responsibly and ethically. Okay, so as I said, always bear in mind that there are those copyright laws and that, but I think, like I said, it's not something for us to worry about on a day-to-day basis. It's only if you're going to say you want to write a training manual and distribute it at one of the campuses. Just check with us first regarding, well, what are the copyright laws on something like that, if ChatGPT has written it for you. It's great that ChatGPT wrote it for you. That's not a problem. We just need to just think about those things and keep them in mind. Okay. And dedicate time to building your AI skills. So you need to use it to get to understand all its nuances and what it can and can't do and how it can help you. And like I said, you're welcome to reach out at any time. I think Melissa also said, and Ida also said something there about you can reach out if you've got questions. Um, so reach out to whoever you're comfortable with and ask. Okay. All right. So yeah, smart tech needs smart users too. That's what I said. AI, if you don't learn how to engage with AI properly, you're not going to maximize the benefits from it. And I can't emphasize enough how much AI can help you in in your daily workflow. It can make the biggest difference. Okay, it really can. It's like having a personal assistant who is there all the time, and it's wonderful. All right. So embrace engaging with new technology and AI. It's really it's really worth it. Okay, so what are we going to do next? All right. ChatGPT, and I see the discussions going on in the chat there, which is great. That ChatGPT is the main one that everybody sort of knows or has heard of. It's also the one that I want to focus on, because I think it's going to have the most benefit for everybody. And again, like I said, reach out. If you're unsure how this can help you in your daily workflow, reach out to me. We can set up a session. I can work through it with you. And I can say, well, what does your week look like? What does your day look like? What are the reports? What kind of things do you need to do? And we can work through it, and we can figure out what tasks you can use ChatGPT to assist you with. So please, like, my door is open. You can pop me an email and we can do that. So we are going to have a look at how to use ChatGPT, and we will do some demonstrations on that. All right. A prompt. I keep talking about prompts. You get an entire new job in this world called a prompt engineer. It's just a very fancy word for somebody who sits and types in prompts into AI engines to get accurate information. But it is an art and a science, that being said. And the more familiar you are with the limitations and abilities of whatever you're using, whether it's ChatGPT or it's Google Gemini, but we're going to focus on ChatGPT. But the more specific and accurate, and the more knowledge you have of what it can and can't do, the better prompt you write, the better results you're going to get, and the easier it also gets. So we'll look at prompts. It's just a prompt is just the instruction that you're giving it. If you're uploading a file and you're telling it you want a report to be written out of that file, you've got to be very specific about what you want it to give you. Otherwise, you're going to get something and you're going to have to rewrite it yourself anyway. So how you prompt is important because it guides AI's understandings of what your goal is. So clear and specific prompts will lead to more accurate, useful, and relevant responses. If you just put in very vague prompts, it will give you unclear or incorrect results. So like Rolinda, I think your example is nice. You upload all your running stats into ChatGPT so that it can change the program accordingly, and it's got that context and that knowledge. Okay, so this is what in our next sessions, we'll be introduced to ChatGPT and prompting. But like I said, please don't wait until then to reach out to me. I am available that I can sit with you and we can work through it together and look at what it is that you do and how it can help you. So yeah, my door is open in that regard before the next session. So the conclusion is that AI is around us, okay, making life smarter and more connected. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere at all. So we need to embrace it. It really brings amazing benefits when it's used wisely and correctly and intentionally. And understanding AI helps us live better, not just faster. Okay, because there's also value in what it can do beyond just getting something done very quickly. Okay, you'll be surprised. Sometimes I've gotten the most amazing ideas from ChatGPT when I've put a prompt in. Okay, so we don't have to fear it. We've got to understand it and embrace it. Okay, so thank you for joining this session. What I will do is I will share a link with you to a very simple instructional video on how to log on with ChatGPT, specifically the AI engine ChatGPT. You can just use your Google or your personal or your work account. It's up to you. How you want to do it initially. Obviously, if we at a later stage want it all to be everybody on as a company, we'll use our work emails, but you can use just a Gmail account to do it even. Okay, you can have a free account on ChatGPT. You don't have to pay for it. They have a free version that is a great starting point for everybody. Just as preparation for our next one, go and create your ChatGPT account. Okay, hopefully you also tempted to interact with it a little bit. And then I'll send a copy of this recording and I'll send a copy of the slide deck and I will send you a link to the video. And then in the next session, we'll explore how do you talk to AI, okay? And we'll learn about prompting and what information we want to plug in and what we can get out. But again, I'll say it last time, you don't have to wait till then. If you do want to set up a meeting with me and you want me to help you look at how AI can help your workflow, then you're welcome to reach out. Okay, thank you guys. Are there any questions? That's another thing, actually, Yadri, that's a good point there that you brought out is the learners can also benefit once if the staff at the campuses are comfortable with AI. It's really something that can be shared, and the learners will greatly benefit from it also, obviously. So that's a nice idea. Okay. Any other questions? No one. Okay, cool. All right, guys, if you do, you've got my email address, everybody. It's in the company contact list. You're welcome to email me. And yes, otherwise, thank you very much for joining. I hope you found this useful and I hope you feel inspired to go and talk to AI. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Amelia.
Thank you, Amelia.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.